This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, all. Yeah. All right. So, is there any questions or anything you want to discuss before starting to new topics? So, last week, have you done the labs? Any questions with file system handling? All right. So, today we will discuss about OOPS concepts. So, in OOPS, we'll learn about what is object. So, what is methods, classes. So we will discuss about this one, and later we will go with Python modules and packages. Okay. So is anyone having idea about what is OOPS? So the OOPS concept, basically it's object-oriented programming system. So shortly we will call OOPS. So first of all, can you hear me?
Yeah, right.
Can I?
Yeah, nobody here.
Oh, all right. Yeah, thanks. So the OOPS concept is not only for Python; it's a common, terminology which we are using, in the IT. So especially after C++, so the OOPS is, we are widely using. So it's a programming paradigm. So we already know what is paradigm. So it's a solution, right, to the problem. And programming paradigm is, yeah, programmatically we are approaching this problem. We are just giving the solution for the particular problem. Yeah. So in OOPS, it's a very simple concept to understand. So for example, it's from the name itself we can able to find what is related with. So it is related with the object. So what is subject? So everything will be considered as a object. For example, in the real world entity, if you take a table as an object, fan is an object, bike is an object. So consider whatever you are seeing in the real world, it's considered as an object. So it's just a process of grouping a related data into the single form. So there are several benefits which we are using with the OOPS concept. The main benefit is to ease of modifying the code, and if possible we can extend the scope without doing repeatable. So for example, if you are creating a class in your script, so the class you can create for the main class, and it can be inherited for subclasses based on the requirement. And you can work together as a group of people to implement split the functions based on the requirement. So we will learn about it in detail. So uh, so mainly it's focused on objects. So objects is nothing but say real world entity. So we can call it as we can whatever you are finding in the real world, it will be a object. So as I said, table, car, bike, motor, bottle, glass, plate. So everything is called an object. Okay. So what we need in order to perform, the OOPS, programming paradigm. So we mainly need three parameters. So one is data input. So based on the input only, we can able to do the process. So the input, maybe the file system or maybe a database system or storage system or anything, any form. And the second one, processing. So processing is the logic which we are going to implement, based on the requirement in order to display the output. So the third one, output, data output. So which is a which can be a reading format. The output supposed to be in simpler, and also it can be ease of user friendly manner. So you can print the output based on the requirement, and it's supposed to be a system in output, or it's supposed to be the user output. So what is okay? So why we have two kind of outputs? One is physical user, and second one is system. So uh, suppose we are creating a script, and it's going to deliver. It's going to uh, the outcome of the script might be input of another script, which mean, so in that case, the output supposed to be a specific format which supposed to take by the another script. So this is called a system output. But in some cases, if we are going to print something, if we are going to show something to the users, end users, then it's called user output. So there are two different way of output is there. Any questions with this slide? Okay, so there are certain benefits with the OOPS concept. As I said, so the main benefits or concepts are data encapsulation, simplicity, easy to modify, maintainability, and reusability. So what is data encapsulation? Anyone having idea? So from the name itself, we can able to find out. Encapsule. So basically, this is to hide the data from the system or particular portion. For example, you are creating a class, or you are creating a variable which can be accessed only to that particular class. For example, if you are creating a class as a if you are creating a variable as a private, which can be accessed only within the class, which can't be used in another classes. But if you are creating a class as a public, then it can be accessed across the class, even subclass, other classes also we can able to use it. Okay. So those kind of production or encapsulation we can able to use in OOPS concept. And second one, simplicity. So the large scale system. So complex tasks can be splitted into we can break down into smaller problems or smaller tasks, and then we can develop the schema. I mean logic schema with multiple classes, multiple methods. So in that case, it will be easy to understand where the exact problem arises. So for example, you have to perform patching activity. So patching itself is a big task, critical. It's a complex one, right? But you can able to segregate the entire task into. You can break the task into multiple small tasks. You can split the task as pre-patching. Within the pre-patching also, we can able to segregate each task, like getting the service name, getting the latest fix, hot fix. So likewise, you can segregate the task. So you have to segregate the task, and you can able to create methods in order to perform that one, so that it will be easy when it comes to output any errors issues. Then you can able to find which method having the issues. So just go and check the module, the method which is getting the issues, right? The third one is easy to modify. So as I said before, if you are segregating like each separate task, then it will be easy to fix the problem. And also, if you want to extend or enhance your code, you can extend that particular portion of it. So maintainability also is, it will be easy when it comes to oops. And the reusability, if you are going to enhance your code, or if you want to change something, so it will be easy for you to rewrite the codes. When compared to it's a single stretch, it will be tough, right? So if it is a segregated one, you can go and find the correct methods or classes, and you can change the you can either use the existing classes as well. You can either use the existing method as well for your enhance, for your new requirement, or if you are going to enhance the code. Any questions? All right, we'll get into deeper now. What is an object? So object is nothing but is a real world, so whatever you are seeing in the real world, it's called object. So it's an actor in OOPS. It's something within the system. Okay. So for example, so consider a car is an object. So each object having two different types. One is properties, the another one is methods. So each object having properties and methods. Consider we are taking car is an object. Okay. So what are the properties in available in car? Make, model, color, type of car. So those are the properties of the car, right? The door, the color is object, sorry, orange. So those are the things are considered as properties. Model number, model name, model color, right? So those are properties. What is methods? Whatever you are going to perform some action on the object, it is called methods. So what we can able to perform an action into the car? We can start the car, right? We can put the brake on the car, and we can stop the car, right? So these are the actions which we are going to perform into the car object. So from the example itself, we can able to understand, right? So what is properties? It's a read-only value which can't be changed. For example, the model which already available, we can't able to change the model name. The color also, by default, whatever the color, so it's a default color, right? So whatever the naming mentioned before, that's it. We could not able to change the naming. So that's why the properties are read-only values. So methods are to perform some action into that object. So in car, what we can able to perform an action, we can start the car, we can brake, put in the brake, and we can stop the car, So those are the actions we can able to perform it. Is it clear, or you have any questions? This is very important topics. Let me take one example with our infra. Anchor services and object. Service is clear, right? So WinRM service, McAfee agent service, those services, right? There is an application called services. I'm talking about this one. Okay, so in the services application, we have a lot of services, right? So here it's having name, description, status, startup type, log on as. So we have 5 properties. So whatever you are seeing here, it's called properties. So for example, you could not able to change the name of this particular service name. Am I right? So whatever is listing is by default. You can't able to change the name. So whatever you are able to see here, this kind of values are called properties. So here, service, if you are considering service is an object, so what are the properties? Service name, service description, and then status, startup type, start type. Those are the properties of service object. Am I right? Okay, so can you please tell me what are the methods we can able to perform? What are the actions we can able to perform on service subject?
Start, stop, restart,
Yeah, start, restart, stop,
reboot.
resume, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you want to check, you can just check, right click that one, you can able to see, right? You can able to start the service, stop the service, pause the service, resume, restart. So this 5 tasks we can able to perform on each services, which mean these are the actions we can able to perform. So as I said in programming, whatever the action you are going to perform on object, it's called methods. So those 5 you know tasks are considered as a methods. Okay, is it clear now? Any questions with the object and properties methods? This is the main important the topics when it comes to oops. This is not only for Python, it's for common. So if you understand this things, it will be easy for you create or develop your own code with Python in oops terminology. Do you need any other example, or is it fine? Let's go
Yeah,
with
Yeah.
example is okay. Can you re-explain this oops concept, that slide one once again?
yeah, this one, previous one.
No, the previous one. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any questions with this?
Yeah, in this, can you uh, walk through once again?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the hoops, we will call it as hoops, but the abbreviation is object-oriented programming system. So it's a type is one type of programming paradigm. So on the first class, we learned about programming paradigm. So if you remember, as I told, Python itself, I mean Python having capability of multiple programming paradigm. So one of the paradigm is OOPS concept. We have a lot of programming paradigm, and in OOPS is mainly focused on object. Okay, so if you ask me what is an object, it's a real world entity. So anything is an object. Okay, so and also it's having several benefits. So each benefits I have updated here. It's data encapsulation, simplicity, easy to modify, maintainability, and reusability. And it's a grouping of data into the single form. Okay, so which mean, so if you are going to create a class, for example, class R, I am taking this one as an example. I'm going to create a class as car.
Hmm. Now next we go the car. You like it? Come, I'll show you. Here, come, come, that one next.
It's mainly. All right. So if you take a car is an class name. Okay. So I'm going to create property. Um, Model string. Yeah, I'm just using .NET as a reference. So this is not related to. I mean, the syntax is not Python one. I'm just typing as an example with oops color. Okay. So here we supposed to have some code here and that. So if you see, so if you are going to create a class, you can give the name, the object name of the particular class, and then the properties and methods which we discussed, right? So those are the things which comes under the classes only. Okay, so this is the for properties are as a variable name. We have to use it. We have to declare it like this, and we can able to assign values as well. And the methods are something like this. So previously we used print method, input method, right? So those are the methods we used before. So likewise, each object having its own methods. So here we have start method, and we can have multiple methods as well. So, so each method having its own definition. Okay, so if you want to call that model, it will go and execute the code which is available, under this method. Okay, so likewise, it will be defined. Okay, and also if you want to create a extended class, there is here a topic called inheritance. So inheritance in OOPS called you can create a subclass from the main class. So for example, you already have a class called vehicle. So from the vehicle, you can inherit with subclasses like uh, this come from vehicle, and also you can create multiple subclasses like class um, cycle from vehicle. If you are inheriting from the parent class, you can able to make use of this properties, and also you can make use of methods as well if you want. Others, you can create your own properties and methods for that particular object as well. So if you are creating a variable with private, then you could not be able to use model variable in these subclasses, since all private variables are private properties are we can able to use within the main class, I mean within that class. So if you're specifying with public, or if you're not specifying anything, then color can be used in the subclasses as well. So this is the structure of hoops. Okay. Yeah, so here what I telling is for each programming paradigm or each script, so we need three things. One is input, and second one is processing logic, and third one is output. So the input can be a user input, which can be readable format, or else I say it can be a file system input. You can get the input in the text file. It can be a database input. So any kind of input we can able to use in our script. And the processing, which is a logic we are going to perform for the specific requirement. And the output is based on the outcome of that script, we are going to print something, right? So we have to print the values for two reasons. So one is to give some information to the users, end users, and the second one, if you are creating a multiple script, so one script output supposed to be input of another script. So in that case, so for example, the workflow management. So if you have a workflow management, so at the time for each task, you can create a simple Python script, and one of the output will become input of another one in the workflow management tools or workflow. So on that case, in the system output, we have to give and you have to prepare the output for system. Yeah, is it clear? Or still you have any questions?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll clear with the oops concept and also object. So if we take process as an object, so we can have process name, and what are the things available in process name, and then pm size, etc., right? So those are the properties of process object. So what are the methods we can able to it is available in process? Kill process, start process, right? So those are the actions we can able to perform on process object. So likewise, so these are the things which is already available, the process service. So those are the information which is already available on the system. It's a desktop system or server system which is already defined. And also for storage, database, so whatever the information which is already exists, we just need to fetch the properties and methods by using Python module. Okay, but if you are going to create your user defined properties and methods, we can also create that. How we can able to create? We can create like this, but the syntax, we are not going to use curly bracket and all, so we know, right? So in Python we are not using curly brackets, so the syntax might be different. So we will learn about that later. All right. Okay, so the second topic is methods. So um, we already discussed, right? So whatever the action we are going to perform that object is called methods. So in Python, it's not only Python. So we have two kind of methods. So one is internal methods, and second one is external methods. So the external methods, which can be called, which can be invoked from another object. So the internal methods, it's called it's invoked within the same object. Okay, so for example, so here we have two classes. So we created the start method. So if you want to invoke the start method, invoke means we are going to call that method. Then we can just give the name of that method and followed by the open and close bracket. So some methods need to provide some parameters. For example, so let me create one more class like this, class add or class maths. I'm creating a class for maths. So here I can create a method called add method. So in the addition method or add method, what we need two input. Am I right? So two input means I need A and B, so that I can able to perform an addition A plus B. So consider this is my definition of add method. So in this method need two parameters, two arguments, input arguments are two input parameters. Okay, but here I am not using any parameter. So why I'm telling this, even if you are going to use some built-in methods, system is already defined one. Some methods we need to provide some inputs, then only it will work. But most of the methods we no need to provide any inputs, it will work automatically. So here we need to provide two values, then only you can able to get the output of this method. But if you are creating a different method like this one, add print 10, which means even if you're not passing anything, it always print 10. Am I right? So if you are providing some values, so based on the values, it will be do some calculation, it will return some values. So if you are not passing anything, so by default, which is already mentioned, which is already created the code, so it will go and print that, execute that lines of code. Okay. So that's why you have to whenever you are going to use the model, make sure you are going to give some values or not. So as of now, in the print method, we are providing some data. So input method, we are providing some data, right? So based on that, some method we are not providing any data. So in string operations and all, the split method, split, if you're not providing, by default it will take as a space, right? If we are providing some data, colon or hyphen, it will consider that data and it will go and execute. So there is some logic, behind that code. Am I right? All right. So now we have this definition. So if I need to call this code, I can call within the class itself, 10, 5. So if I'm calling this method, it will go and A will be assigned with 10, B will be assigned 5, and the total will be printed, right? So this is called, internal methods. So, and if I'm calling outside the methods, it may be a different classes as well. So if I'm calling the same method from different class, then it is called external method invoking. Is it clear? Okay, so the next one is accesses. So accesses are nothing but, as I said, data encapsulation. So in the data encapsulation, we can create the variable in two different form. One is private, another one is public. So which mean, if you are mentioned as a private, the variable which can't be accessed in the subclasses. So for that we need an accesses. So in Python, we if you are specifying single underscore, which at the beginning of the variable, so it's called protected. So which means we can't able to use that variable in another classes. So if you are going to create, we can able to use that in these subclasses. Child classes only. So protected means. So if you are going to use underscore underscore to underscore, then it is considered as a private. So it could not be able to use in another classes. Okay, so there are three different accesses. So one is private and protected, and last one is public. Okay. So in private means, as I said, if you are going to create a variable a, b, then you can able to use within that class only. You could not able to use here. Outside of another classes. And protected means it can be used within the class and also child classes. This is inherited from the main classes, right? So we can able to use the variable here. But if you are using, if you are creating different class, math 2, but you are not inherited from maths, then you can't able to use that variable. Protected means you can use the variable across the child classes. So public we can use anywhere within the program. Okay. So in Python, if you want to create a variable like name, so underscore name, which means it is considered as a protected variable. So if you are using double underscore name, it is considered as a private variable. So public, no, we don't have any denote, so we can by default is considered as a public. Okay. So usually like this. Okay. Any questions with the methods? Perform some actions. So what is class? So a class is a data type that acts as a template definition for a particular kind of object. So in this example, we created a class for this object. So in this example, we created a class for this object. Okay, so for each object, we can create a class. So which means a class is a blueprint of an object. So whatever the properties, methods associated with that object, so those are comes within the class. Okay. So the blueprint of car which can be written in class. So in Python, we have to create a class using a keyword called class followed by class name followed by colon. So here we are using curly bracket. So as I said before, this is not Python code. This is this is for .NET, right? So likewise, we already know we don't have curly bracket in Python. So instead, what we used colon, right? So the same way we have to use colon after the class name. And if you are going to create an instance of that class, so you can use the variable equal to class name followed by open and close bracket. So which means, so if you want to instantiate an object for that class, you have to use this one. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So the next one, code organization. So in Python, the codes are organized into, or it can be managed through modules and packages. So there are two different types available in Python. One is module and another one is package. So module is nothing but is a Python file with the extension of .py as our Python script. This is again a Python script which is already written by someone. We are just going to use. Okay. So based on the requirement, we need to import the module and we have to extensively using the properties and methods of that particular module. Is it clear with the module? So the second one, package. Package is a folder which contains a file with underscore underscore init underscore underscore dot py. So the packages can store many Python modules or files in it. So it's a folder, right? So within the folder, we might have modules and files. So if you want to use that particular module or you use that particular package, you have to use a keyword called import. Import is a statement is used to load a library model into the program memory. So the keyword is syntax is import followed by the module name. So we can use this line, or else if you want to, okay, so there are two different things you have to understand. One is if you want to use a module, some modules might contains in two different packages. Okay, in that case you have to make sure to give which package, and you have to make use of in your program. So on that case you have to specify the package name before importing the module. So if you have only one module, then you can directly import with module name. If you find more than one module with different packages, then you have to specify from which module you are going to import the module. How we can able to find out? If it will return some error if you are importing a model, right? So at all time it will duplicate module find, some error will throw. So based on that you can able to find that. Okay, so where I can able to check what are the modules available, what are the packages available on the system. We have to navigate to our Python installation folder. So here this is my Python folder. So under lib library, I can able to find all the modules and also packages. So here RE is for regular expression module, random is for random module, so run by shell. So these are the Python file, right? So this is called module, and we have some folders. So each folder, if you click here, you can able to find underscore underscore init underscore. So this is a package. So package again contains methods only, modules only. So most of the modules available by default without, without any folders in the library itself. But some modules available within the folder, within the packages.
Arogya, can we see what is the code written in any of the library or in
Yes,
the packages?
yes. We can able to see. It's a Python code, right? So you have to let me go to random, right click, open with Visual Studio Code. You can able to modify it. You can able to do anything what you want. So if you want, based on your requirement, you can do that as well. Since it's a Python code, right? So the initial comments are documentation purpose. So I told you in the commenting session, right? So at the time I told how to use comments for documentation. So this is the documentation site. I mean, the documentation which they mentioned, and this is the logic they written for this module. They also used some other modules. So it's a dependency, right? So each module contain might use some other modules as well. And they used exception handling. So we will learn about exception handling in upcoming classes. And these are the methods written in that module. And each method is defined within the module definition. So they updated the relevant commands. So whenever you are going to create a script, you have to make sure to give the relevant commands. And also you have to use exception handling. So we will learn about that one later. Yep. So whatever the code which you are seeing, right? So it's a Python module definition of random model. So the one way you can able to visually see the folder, and the another way you can use help method to find out the list of modules. So help followed by modules. If I'm executing this one, I can able to find the list of modules available on my system. This is only from my system, not from the python.org. So this is very less modules available, right? But in python.org you can able to find a lot modules. So since it's an Python is open source, even you can create your own module and you can upload in the repository. I mean project.org. Okay. Yeah, so if you have, okay, whenever you are getting a requirement, so before starting a script, you have to write your algorithm or flowchart. So based on that, you might understand what are all the based on the logic, we might understand, right? So what are the dependency with that logic? So for example, if you are going to change some value, and at the time you can go with regular expression. So if you are going to create a timestamp file, at the time you need date time related operations, right? So at the time you might know date time module required. So if you are going to perform some, if you are going to create a folder, if you are going to perform some OS information, then you can use OS model, Python model. So based on that, you can understand what are the models required for your script. So you can able to find the models from the library, or else when using help system, you can able to get it. So these are the modules available on my system. WMA object, WMA model, WinRM model, SSL Python module, okay, JSON keyword. So a lot of models which we really used. So logging model is the main one for logging purpose. All right. So the next one, we can go with a few models, system defined models. So random is one of the model. So you can able to find from here. Yes, here, yeah, random, right? So how we can able to make use of that model? So we can learn that one. So from models, I can able to fetch all the models. So once you find out the relevant models for your use case, then just go to help and use that module so that you can understand what it's about. There are two ways. One is you can go check it on the online docs.python.org, or else you can use help system and read more about that particular module. Or else third way, you can if you already have an if you already know, right? So you can just open that file in the editor and you can able to understand better definition of that each and every properties and methods defined under the module. So we are just going to reuse the existing properties and methods. Okay. All right. So next one, how we can able to find out the properties and methods of that particular module. So dir is a function is used to get a list of attributes of a particular model. So now we can able to get all the available modules. So from the modules, I can able to find the relevant modules for my use case. So from that module, I need to understand what are the properties and methods available. So for that, you just go and check it on the definition. That's one one type of getting the information. Others, you can just use dir of that module. You can extract the details. So if you use dir of random, you can able to find all the properties and methods. Okay, so if I am going to use that property and methods, so now what I can do, I have to import that module first. So import is a keyword followed by the module name, and then I am creating two variables, and I'm going to use that variable in random module. So random is a model name, and dot rand rand range is a function. So rand range is a function which is available in that model. So when I'm using that one, I can provide two parameters. If you see the definition of rand range, you can able to find you have to provide three variables: start, stop, step. So step is the optional one. So by default, it will take 1. So if you see step integer equal to 1. So by default, it is 1. So we have to provide start and stop only. So if I'm executing this one, so from 10 to 50, it will get one number, random number. So I have given the range, start and end range. So within that start and end numbers, it will generate or it will fetch one number from that range. And also random model having few more methods. So if you want go through all the methods, you can check it out. And if you are going to perform some mathematical operations, you can use math method, sorry, model. So math is a module. I'm going to make use of all the properties and methods of that particular module. So that's why I'm importing. Import module name, and I'm created three variables. I'm just going to perform mathematical operations like sale method, floor, factorial, fabs, truncation, right? So if I'm running this one, so I will get all the values. So whenever you are going to perform some mathematical operations like flow, factorial, sale, and all, you are not no need to create any new logic. You just going to use the existing maths module and make use of the existing methods. This is what you have to understand. Any questions? All right. If there is no question, so probably we'll take a 10 minutes break and then we'll start with regex.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Okay, so the next one we will discuss about regular expression. How many of you used a regular expression? I mean, not in Python, so any other programming. Even Unix systems also we used sed, right? Regex. Okay, so why we are going to use regex? In some cases or some scenario, the data is not in the correct format or is in a different format. So at the time, what we have to do, we have to make sure to find the exact pattern, and using that pattern, we can able to get the data or we can modify the data. Yeah, so then only we are going with the regular expression. So for regular expression, what we need a pattern. So based on the pattern, it will go and find the data, and it will extract the data based on that particular pattern. Okay, so there are two the modules which you are going to use in Python is RE. So RE is a module, Python module for regular expression, and there are two different two methods which is commonly used in the regular expression is the search and substitute. Search is a method to find, and substitute is a method, sub is another method for substitution. So find and replace kind. Okay, so if you want to use regular expression in your script, so what you have to do, you have to import the corresponding module first. So for all the modules which you already identified, we have to make use of import at the beginning of the script. So here, if I need to use only regular expression, I can use import RE. But in the in the real time, you might use multiple modules. So at the time, you have to import all your modules first, and then you can make use of the associated properties and methods. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Second. So you were using, can you explain what are the basic differences between the modules and the packages? Say, for example, you said the packages will contain the files, right? A set of files.
Mm,
So if I have like a subfolders also, like
mm.
multiple subfolders, okay, how to invoke those subfolders, the files in that?
Okay. How about a subfolder? So each package having its only one folder. It won't contains a subfolder. So if it is a subfolder, it's related with the. I mean, it's just for reference details for here. This one does not have anything, right? So whatever the files associate, I mean modules associated with this package, it's all there here only. DUM, GNU, NDBM.
So it will
So
not
what
have a package, will not have a subfolders.
it does not have any subfolders. So basically, the difference is this is something a collection. Okay, for example,
Can
this
you go to the command? Can you go to
right?
that command?
Which one command? Okay.
Yeah, it has, right?
Yeah, it has, but it's all related with this models only. Okay, so the reference and all you can able to find. Okay, so if you check any of the one, it is already imported with this script. So if okay, so if you are going to create like this, what you have to do, you have to import. For example, if you are going to import this one, import build from command. So command is here for folder. From the folder, you are going to import. So here they used distutils to import log. So likewise, you can able to do that as well. You got the point. So if you have subfolder, so
I
from
didn't get.
subfolder, if you are going to create, if you are going to import, you can use from.
So we can use it from subfolders. That is what.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm telling. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can check the existing packages so that you can understand more better. It's a segregation actually. So for example, the all the XML related modules available in XML packages. So all logging related things available in logging, packages. It's a package, right? So in within the package is all associated modules available. But in the modules, we might have in the library itself like this. Others, if particular modules available in packages itself. So package might contain subfolders, but it's already referenced with the module. The reference is using from keyword.
Okay.
Right. So here I'm getting the input from the users. Enter the text to search. So once they entered some string, what I'm going to use regex re module and followed by the method of that module. So as I said, regular expression having some more modules, but what I'm going to the more mostly used modules are sorry methods are search and substitute sub. So from search, I'm going to search from the source, and this is the key. Okay, you have to provide two values. One is the source information, and second one is key which you are going to search. And I'm just used within the conditional statement. Whether it does not meet anything and does not have anything, then uh, test found. I mean, does not equal to none, then it's called test found. If it is none, it is printed with the text is not found. So I'm searching something. So first I'm keyword. If I'm typing otherwise my name, then test is not found, right? Since I'm trying to find this name. Okay, so again I'm running this same script. I'm, I'm giving the exact key. Now it is showing test is not found. Not found. Hmm, looks weird. Same, right? This one first. None. Oh, it is not taken as. Oh, okay, I got it. So it's matching with the exact value. Okay, so the search option which is matching the exact value. So previously I have given the sentence, right? So that's why it's not taking. But if you're giving the exact value which you are referring, I mean, if you are going to check the conditions, you can give it like this. So it will go and check the matching values, and if it is matched, then it is giving the output like this. So here I have given a string value. I haven't given any pattern, so that's why it's looking for the same value. Okay, but in reality we have to provide the pattern. So the pattern like this. Okay, so in regular expression, it's not only regular expression. So whenever you are going to get, I mean, assign some values, it is if you have some spaces or some different format, the value having, then it is recommended to use R. What is R? It is a raw string. It denotes a raw string. So basically, if you have any special characters, so it will be treated as different one. So for example, if I have neo/n Kumar, so if I am assigning into one variable, then how it will be treated? It will be treated with neo new line followed by Kumar. So that's why we are getting two values, right? But if you want to consider /n as a value, it's not a new line, since we mentioned within double quotes as a string. So at the time, what we have to use? We have to use the value within R. I mean, R followed by the value. So R means a raw string. So the entire string which you are giving after that, it will be treated as a raw string, even though if it is having a special characters, it won't be considered. So see, you are getting as it is. So here, if you are going to use double slash some path, and if you are not going to use raw string, then it will treat like this. You will get only single slash. So if I'm using R, then we will get as it is. So have we cleared about why we are using R raw string before assigning a value?
Can you use multiple single quotes there in the share path one?
Multiple single quotes.
Yeah, like share path, then one or two quotes, something like that.
You mean like this?
Yeah, will it
No,
consider now?
no. You have to use escape sequence, right? So here,
If that is the case, then we can use escape sequence itself, right?
uh, okay. So here, why we go
Even
with
with the new
escape
on,
sequence? Escape sequence is only for single quote and double quotes, right? But here we are using different special characters, double slash. Here we are using slash n or slash t, right? So those kind of different at variables. So we have to use raw string only. But the escape sequence is only for single quote or double quotes. Am I right? Right. So this is the sentence I have assigned to user details. So I'm just printing the details, and on line number 25, I'm using regular expression dot sub method. So sub method is used to replace some values, right? So I'm going to replace Arca with Neo for user details. Okay, so once it's completed, I'm storing the new value, and then I'm printing the new value and also the old value. Okay, so first it contains this value, and then after the substitute it's changed with this one, and again I'm printing the original one. So sub method is used to replace some values. Okay, so the next one, so this is the pattern which I created. So for example, in the regular expression search method, so I am just checking the value might be in this pattern. So the pattern is it's supposed to start with capital N, and we might have some values, some three values, and followed by O, and some values, some three values followed by N. So in this value it matches with this pattern, then it will return pattern found. So otherwise it will go and execute the else value. So as per the condition, we started with N, and then we have three values, and then we have O, and then we have three values, and then N. So it matches, right? So that's why we are getting pattern form. So if you change anything else in between, then you won't get the data, you are getting else value. So if you are going to create a pattern, make sure to find the values and then create the pattern like this. This is one kind of pattern. So we can create multiple patterns. So here I used the first letter start with N followed by /D. So /D is for digit. Okay, so N followed by some numbers. So I'm checking on the N20 data. So it's found since we have started with N and followed by some number. If I use some other values, so it will check N followed by some numbers. We don't have, right? So that's why it's getting else value. Okay, so I will run the entire thing. Here, so I use the pattern like it's supposed to start with N and followed by digit and followed by star. So star means N number of the previous value. So the previous value which we defined as digit. So make sure to use this slash and D, slash followed by D for denoting the digits. Okay, so the star means whatever the value which is available before, it's supposed to be it's supposed to be repeated. So for example here n is a starting value and followed by digit, so we might have n number of digits. That's why we are denoting star. So previously we does not define with star, which means only one number is supposed to be present. And here plus means any it's supposed to contains only one values. So question means it might have the previous value. So you know, each character having its own features. We are going to use dot, which means used to match one occurrence of any characters. So any characters, okay, previously we used dot, right? So here it can be anything, one occurrence of any characters. And slash t means, so is used to match one occurrence of any digit from 0 to 9. It can be any numbers from 0 to 9. So star means is used to match 0 or more occurrence of previous characters. So star means it is supposed to match with 0 or more occurrence, which means we might, even if you don't have digit also, it will take. Since star is used to match 0 or more occurrence, even it is not matched also, it will be taken. But if you are using plus, it's supposed to check at least one match or more match. So the difference between star and plus is it's supposed to check 0 or more occurrence, plus will check minimum 1 to more occurrence. The question mark, if you are using, it is supposed to check 0 or 1 occurrence of previous character. So it will check only one occurrence or 0 occurrence. So if you are going to use, within the curly bracket number, it will match the exact occurrence of previous characters. So let me run this one. Let me run. So in tomorrow's lab, probably you can change the values and then you can check it out the result so that you can understand more better. So here even if you are using star, it will check 0 or more occurrence. If you are using plus, it will check 1 or more occurrence. So if it is question mark, it will check 0 or 1 occurrence. So if you are giving some numbers within the curly bracket, it will check the 3 digits. So if you want to check, 2 digit or 3 digit. So in some cases, for example, if you are going to grab or create a pattern for fetching the IP address, then you can define like this, right? 3 digit or 2 digit, followed by colon, followed by dot, right? So you can make use of this kind of pattern. So here, if I used 3 numbers followed by n, then I can use n followed by slash d followed by curly bracket n values, I mean 3 values. And if you are going to use any values between start to end, then you can use square bracket and starting value 2 and upper value is 5. So within 2 to 5 it can be, we can get any values, but if it is above 5, so it won't match. So the cap, if you are giving cap, it will use to match a pattern at the beginning of a string. So the beginning is supposed to start with A, start with B, start with L. So then you can make use of cap. So if you are going to search the pattern with ending value, so the end pattern supposed to ends with dot, ends with s, then you can use dollar symbol. So here is supposed to start with neo, and here it's supposed to end with n dot. Then it will go and grab that value. And like slash, we have some more characters. Slash w for word, slash s for string, sorry, space, and the pipeline is for either this value or that value. Okay. W for word and slash s for single space, and we can use slash t slash n also. If you have tab space also, you can use slash s. And pipeline is for either one of pattern is either left or right side is true or match. In the search pattern, you can use pattern as well, n followed by some numbers. So you can give multiple values as well, within the square bracket. So instead of search, we can also use the find all method. So the mostly used methods from regular expression is search, substitute, but we can use find all as well. So from the find all also, you can able to find some values. And we have compile method. So the compile will it will go and check the pattern is correct or not. Let me run this one. Okay, so here the main difference is, if you are going to search, is find. So sub means replace, right? So if you want to find all, then you can use find all method. So search will find the first occurrence of value, search method. But if you are using find all, it will find all occurrence of the matching value. Okay, so if you are going to get, check your pattern is correct or not, you can use compile.
So is dot group is mandatory?
Yeah, so dot group will, if you are using dot group, it will group all the values together. Otherwise, it will be treated as a different values. So if you are not giving group, what it will do? Yeah, it will give the result like this. But if you are using group, you will get the matched values, M1 only. So it's not a mandate one, but for the output, if you are giving a group, it will return the values like this. So otherwise, it will give the result with the you know the defined output, regular expression match. Okay. Okay. If I have the file log event, let me check whether the file is available. Yeah. So in this file, it is contains a paragraph with multiple lines, right? So here I have a date in this format, and application ID and IP address. So this is a event log I have gathered from the system. So you know, right? So in the event viewer, we can able to fetch application security system related event logs, right? So I have copied one of the event logs and stored in this file. So in the event like you might get some requirement to extract the some IP addresses. So we will get some application related events, right? So in that, if you want to grab some values based on the search pattern, you can do that using the regular expression model. So from this value, what I can able to fetch, I can able to fetch the IP address, I can able to fetch the application ID, I can able to fetch the product name, product version. So whatever the information I need from this entire data, I can able to fetch it, right? So for that we need file operation. So we know how to do that file operation. So we have to use open method for reading the content of that file. So once I open the file, I stored the object, file object. From the file object, I used read method to read the entire content and stored the entire content into the variable. And after that, what I'm searching with some keyword. Okay, so the keyword is digit, supposed to have 4 digit, followed by hyphen, followed by digit, followed by 3 digit, hyphen, 2 digit. So if it is matched with this pattern, it will return that value and store it in variable. So basically I'm getting the date using this pattern. 4 is for 4 digit, year, month and date. So I'm just giving used a group method in order to print the value. So if you want to grab the product version, you can go and find that pattern, and then you can create a pattern based on that value. So the digit might, I mean, the numbers might contains 1 or 2, and dot followed by digit, dot followed by digit. So whatever is matching, it will return that data. So I'm executing this one. I can able to get the date. I can able to get the product versions and also IP addresses. So here is a simple file, but if you have a file with large data for the entire event logs, then it will be easy for you grab the data, right? So it's a 2 lines of code. We can able to grab the entire data. It will be really useful, right, when it comes to searching all the values manually. Any questions with the regular expression? This is the real example which we supposed to do like this. All right. So this is the one of the exercise. So I have assigned this sentence into the variable song, and I have used this method, upper method, and then I have used a split method and stored the values into song words, and then I used a count equal to 0, initiated the variable with 0. Using for loop, I'm using song words. So from that, I am applying a condition to check the word is start with jingle. So if it starts with jingle, then it will go and increment the value. So whatever the song words having, so it will iterate one by one. It will check the condition. It will add the values, and once the for loop is completed, it will comes to the next available line, print count, and it will return the count value. Can you just check and tell me what will be the result? So we already discussed all those lines. So it's already, it's a known methods.
Zero, right?
Yeah. Any other values? Okay. So we used to change uppercases. So all the values become uppercase. So we are splitting right based on the space it's splitted. So each value, each string splitted across, and also if you are checking the start values, jingle is there, but it's in uppercase, so it does not go inside the if condition. And we have one more, two more jingle, but all the cases are changed with upper. So that's why it's not going into the if condition. So still we have count equal to 0. So that's why it will print only 0. So this is just an example to understand how the data is changed. So if you think we already have jingle, but but it's changed to upper, right? So that's why we are not getting anything. If you are not changing anything, we will get some data. So make sure if you are providing, if you are processing something, make sure on the data. If it is, in the case also is important. Case and the pattern, spaces. So all those things you have to be careful. Any questions with this? All right. So about this one, we're just using regular expression and word equal to new aligns for if such. This R is a raw string, okay, and raw string of cap n comma word. So we know word is new aligns for, and regular expression re dot such raw string of e dollar from word. So if it is matched, it will print this value. If it is not matched, it will print this value. So here we are just using regular expression of substitute method to instead of new, it will replace with old from word keyword, weird variable. In the else, again we are using substitute method. Instead of yes followed by the number, it is changed with yes, capital S. All right, so here, what is the condition? Cap n. So what is the purpose of cap? So if you are using cap followed by something, which mean it's supposed to start with this character or this one. The starting value supposed to this one. So in the word, what is the starting one? N. So it is matched. Am I right? Okay, here we are using and. So and usually both conditions supposed to be true, then only it become true. So we have applied one more condition here. The condition is e followed by dollar. What about dollar? So dollar is a symbol is used to, in regular expression. The value supposed to ends with. So which means E is the last word. E is supposed to be the last word, last letter. Okay. So from the word we have four in the last. We don't have E. Am I right? So basically the first condition is true, but the second condition is false. Are you clear, right? Since we applied and one is true, another one is false, so the entire result is supposed to be false. So it won't reach here and it will go to else part. And here what is supposed to do? We are substituting yes followed by digit with capital S. So what we have yes here, yes followed by number. We have only one number, right? So I have specified one, which means only one number. S4 is replaced with capital S. So new lines will be the output. Is it clear? Any questions? All right. Any questions with the today's topic? So we discussed about oops, what is oops, what is object, and properties and methods. Methods in general, and also types, two different types of methods, and also classes. So in Python, we discussed about Python modules and packages. So we used few modules. So one is a random module we used to generate the random values, and also we used a math module to perform some mathematical operations. And we discussed about regular expressions. So regular expression, there are a lot of pattern we might use. So we discussed all the pattern values. And finally we touched upon in the file handling with file content with the pattern matches. So mostly we used search method, sub method, find all method in regular expression model. So any questions in today's topic? All right.
Aragya.
Yeah, we get.
I don't have questions on this today's topic. Okay, I have a
Hmm.
general question. Okay, how exactly this Python program will be used? I'm not from the Python background or something. So
Okay.
how exactly this will be used in kind of an application side? So this will be used kind of in, say, for example, in Java or in a .NET or something. You
Hmm.
have an Windows type of programming, or you have an kind of a web based programming.
Hmm.
And okay, how exactly this will be used in a real time?
Okay. You're asking earlier time or nowadays?
No, no. How
Now, okay.
exactly now we have been
Okay.
using it
All
in a
right.
kind
So,
of
okay. So Python is we can define as to it can be a application side or it can be a scripting side. So it is both actually. Okay. So
okay.
if you, that's why we have a lot of flavors into that Python. So when it comes to flavors, we discussed about Django framework. So we have framework also. So if you see .NET is a framework. It's not a language,
Yeah.
right? So in the
Yes.
.NET is a framework. Within that framework, we have a lot of language like C sharp,
Yeah,
J
you
sharp,
get yeah, everything is there. Yep.
yeah, VB, right? So likewise, we have Python framework. So within the Python framework, we have Django, Flask. So a lot of framework is there. But
Hmm.
the thing is, if you are going to create a web application, we can go with .NET I mean a Python framework, Django, Flask, or anything. Okay. So
Okay.
if you are going to create a script, okay, at the end of the day, the syntax, so logic, everything is same, Python only. The only things where you are going to use and the interface, that's it, make the difference. Okay, and if you are going to use notebook, right? So Python notebook available. So for that, if you are going to create a interactive web page, interactive web page means if you find Google with execute PowerShell, execute Bash shell on real time, right? So it's called you can type the code on the browser, and on the browser itself you can able to execute, and you can get the output. So that's the website we can able to create. It's a called interactive application. So the those kind of application we can make use of notebook Python. So we have lot of framework and lot of Python applications in order to develop those applications. But what we are discussing is more about infrastructure scripting. So in the infrastructure, we have a lot of teams, right? So each team we are doing L1 task, L2 task, L3, right? Incident task, problem management, change management. So all those tasks we are working. So in that part, whatever we are doing as a manual, for example, if we are going to shut down 100 systems during the patching,
Hmm.
so to
Okay.
reboot 1,000 system, so on that case, instead of going to do manual, you can make use of Python scripting to perform those tasks.
Okay, how you deploy that actually? So you run a kind of in shutdowning some script you are running it. So
There
how
are
you deploy it?
yes, there are few ways in order to manage your code. One is, so if you are creating a script, either you can do it at your local system. So for example, if you are having a Python script to reboot a machine, you just use that script, and you have to provide the destination servers in the script. We will learn about how the Python will work on remote machines. So we have a model in the advanced model. We will learn about that one. It's I think next week and other week we can discuss about how the remote will work in Python. So in the remote thing, we can able to control the other systems. So
Okay,
from your
basic
machine, you
my
to
question
control
is okay, how the deployment works. See, for example, you have an if you take for example, you have a .NET or something, you have an
Hmm.
IA server for web applications. You can deploy with an IA server or
Okay.
Apache servers and all right. So
Okay.
if you have been going to deploy any kind of in some other applications, you convert as an exe and you
Hmm.
execute that exe. That execution will work. Okay, how we are using in Python?
All right. So if you ask me, in the application side of Python, it's a different way. We need an application server. Okay. But so now we are discussing about infra script, right? So here we can deploy our Python script in different ways. So one is you can store the codes into the uh, Git repository, and you can integrate with Jenkins. So from Jenkins or any other platform, you just go and integrate the script, and you can provide the input parameters and then execute from that Jenkins pipeline. Okay, so that's one option. And if you don't have Jenkins, if you have any work orchestration tools like VRA or Scotch or any other tools, so from that tools you can able to integrate the script, and you can execute that one. Either you can execute manually,
You are
or else you
talking
can create
about
a platform.
see, okay.
Yep.
What you are saying is a kind of an uh, directly going and executing. I am asking kind of in scheduling kind of in stuff
Yeah,
automated
yeah.
in a.
Yes, that's why I'm telling. So there are different ways, right? I'm telling one by one.
Hmm.
So if you don't have orchestration tools, then you can create your application using .NET or PHP, and then you can integrate Python. Even if you don't have any tools, if you don't have any application, you're not sure, but you can able to write only the Python code. At the
Hmm.
time, what you can do, you can schedule your Python script in the task scheduler. I mean, it's not for the specific purpose. For example, every day I need to perform some health check. Then you can create the logic in the Python code, and then you can schedule the task script in that task scheduler. Right. So on the specific machine, if you jump server or some machines, if you schedule that Python code, it will go and execute at the regular interval which you mentioned. That's what you can able to do that. So one thing you can able to run manually, and task scheduler, and integrated with some other tools like orchestration application, or configuration management tools like Python, sorry, salt stack, you know Ansible is the most thing, right? So you can integrate all your Python code from Ansible itself. So whatever the options which you have in your environment, you can make use of it. So if you don't have any DevOps tools or any other integration tools, then you can create your own application. Even if it is not available, if you are not have any knowledge on that, probably you can just use that Python code and execute manually.
Okay. This one, okay, following to this. So can we convert this as in kind of an exe?
Yes, yes, yes. We
Yes,
can
okay.
convert. Yeah, we can convert as an exe also fine.
Okay, so we can call that exe to work on,
Mm.
correct?
Yes, yes. So if you want to protect your code, so on that case you can change the format with exe. So you were concerned about revealing the code
No,
to
because
someone.
yeah, because obviously my code will be there. I don't want to see you are scheduling a task. So obviously I
Hmm.
need to give some kind of a path. So path will
Okay, so
contain all the source code.
yeah,
I don't want
that's
to
what.
disable that source
Mhm.
code. I want to convert this as some kind of an exe.
Okay.
I'll call that
Hmm.
exe.
That's what and the integrations comes to into picture. So if we integrated, they won't get where it is available. And one more thing, we can do encryption as well, and also you can convert to exe. There are different ways of hiding your code, and you can store it in repository, and you can control the restrictions over there. That's also possible.
Okay. Can you use it for this one, the API integration, the RESTful APIs?
Yes, 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 yes. Full FA also possible. So from Python, we can able to call the API, and we can execute that one. So we will discuss about API management in upcoming classes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay then. Thank you all. Thanks for joining. We will connect again tomorrow.